Karl Konrad and welcome to the January edition of Australian Immigration News, brought to you by Australian Immigration Law Services. January has been an exciting, jam-packed month full of changes for visa requirements and controversial events. Firstly, international students now have full-time work permission for now. Working holiday makers can stay longer with the one employer. Some 485 visas will be extended and even brought back to life. 489 visa holders arrive back in Australia but find there's no visa extension available to them yet. The offer of refunds for international students and working holiday makers if they get here quickly. The ACT government opens its doors to offshore applicants and changes its critical skills list. Why are tens of thousands of offshore skilled migrants waiting for years for their skill visas to be processed, but the government is screaming skills shortages? And finally, the international embarrassment to the Australian government over the Novak Djokovic visa cancellation saga. Starting on the 18th of February next month, the 485 visa extension program will begin for those who have been impacted during the pandemic period. There are strict guidelines about who is eligible. If you're one of the lucky ones, your visa will be automatically extended, and in cases where it has already expired, it will be enlivened, brought back to life by the wave of the minister's magic wand. These changes have been made to encourage 485 visa holders to come to Australia and save us from the skilled worker shortages. Originally, the idea was people would be able to apply for the new 485 visa from the 1st of July. However, the acute need for skilled workers in Australia has motivated the government to find a way to get them back to Australia earlier. You can watch our recent video about these changes by clicking on it here or in the link at the end of this video. On the 21st of November last year, the Immigration Minister announced that the 489, 491 and 494 visas will be extended. In his press release, he stated the government will also extend visas for skilled regional visa holders in recognition that this cohort has been adversely affected by COVID-19 related travel restrictions. These visa holders can enter Australia from the 1st of December 2021 and they'll also be eligible for an extension of visa, he said. On the 18th of January, he extended a further invitation and offered visas to be extended for another 3 years. So of course they came by their thousands only to discover there is no extensions available yet. Some have come with their entire families and their visas are going to expire next month or so, but there is no avenue for them to apply for their new visas yet. So what can they do? This has been brought to the Immigration Department's attention, but they have remained silent in offering a solution. This is something that should have been thought about before the announcement was made. Could it be perhaps that the minister has been preoccupied with cancelling a certain individual's visa rather than looking after the plight of the many? The Prime Minister sounded like a street market vendor, bellowing his special deals of refunds for international students and working holiday makers who can arrive in Australia in the next few weeks. To clinch this deal, students will need to arrive by the 16th of March and working holiday visa holders will have to arrive by the 13th of April. If you can do this, your visa application fee will be refunded. The Immigration Minister stated this provides an incentive for fully vaccinated student and working holiday visa maker holders to return to Australia as soon as possible to help address the current workforce shortages caused by the COVID-19. Time will tell if this actually worked. Speaking about labour shortages and refunds for the lucky, it raises the question of why we have approximately 70,000 skilled visa applications for permanent residency placed on hold. These skilled workers have been waiting patiently outside of Australia for their 190 and 189 visas to be processed and finalised. Many now have been waiting 2 to 3 years and heard nothing. So why the freeze on their processing when we need them here in Australia now? Remember, these are PR applications and there was never an issue about them having permission to travel and return to Australia once their visa was granted. There should be a priority placed on the Immigration Department's resources to ensure these skilled workers arrive in Australia as soon as possible. International students in Australia can now work full-time in any job while they're studying. This will be revised again in April of this year. Working holiday visa holders can also stay with the same employer now until the end of 2022. These changes are to assist the Australian community in the labour shortages caused by the current coronavirus pandemic. Very welcoming news for many, of course, but it does raise the question of why the government has been recently refusing student visas because they think people want to come to Australia to work. Will the government still cancel international student visas because they fail too many subjects due to working full-time? Canberra this month opened up to offshore applicants and has designed a new campus Canberra matrix system just for them. It's also modified the critical skills list, where 7 new occupations were added and 12 ones removed. Of those 7 occupations added, 3 of them are teaching occupations: primary, secondary, and special needs. Unfortunately, some of the popular occupations were removed: hairdressers, electricians, architects, architectural draft persons, and landscape architects, to name a few. This is the problem about the ACT. This constant changing of their list makes it a gamble to think about moving there. What if your occupation comes off? What would that mean to you? The criteria for offshore applicants for the 491 visa is: your occupation needs to be on the critical skills list, you're working full-time in your occupation, and you have 3 years experience. You must also be able to demonstrate that there is a possibility of an employment in Canberra by supplying research about jobs that are in the labour market. For the 190 nomination, the criteria is more difficult. You need to have a job offer in your nominated occupation for at least 2 years with a medium to large enterprise in the ACT. We'll be making a new video about the ACT requirements in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. Never before have we witnessed such a visa-related disaster as the events surrounding Novak Djokovic. Clearly, the government was in a position to decide not to grant his visa in the first place, or even cancel his visa before he was planning to travel to Australia, if they thought he was going to be a poster boy to incite anti-vaccination groups. It appears the government wanted to use him as an example that even the rich and famous cannot get around biosecurity rules, so they cancelled his visa at the airport. However, in an international embarrassment, the Federal Court of Australia reversed that decision, clearly outlining Novak had complied with all the rules. This means that his visa should never have been cancelled in the first place. The government, with egg on their faces, took the only action they had left and cancelled his visa for the very reasons perhaps it should not have been granted in the first place. What an embarrassment to the Australian community in the manner in which he was treated, and it has undermined the respect for immigration laws of this country. It's been a busy month just keeping up with all of these changes. If you need help, book a time to consult with us over Zoom, Skype, or the telephone. Follow us on Facebook to get the latest changes faster than we can even make these videos. Subscribe to this channel to show your support, and don't forget to hit that like icon if you have enjoyed our content today. As always, take care out there, and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.